Whenever you are studying or deciding on your business model, especially in the retail and distribution sectors, right? There are actually a few key informations that you will need to understand first, all right? Particularly how the distribution channel works for a product that you want to carry. So there are actually a few types of them. So as we all understand, the most traditional one will look like this. Probably a product actually starts from the manufacturer itself, and then it will pass on to distributor, whereas the distributor will and then distribute to agents, all right? Then agents will distribute to retail channels, retail stores. Then only consumers get to buy them, all right? So in this process, right, actually the price may increase a few times because each of the party needs to make their own margin, all right? So this is what we call the traditional trading and distribution method, okay? And of course, the few types that are coming up are getting shorter and shorter because they skip a few parties in between. Okay, one example is probably the manufacturer actually sells to a platform. Then the platform can sell directly to retail stores or retail channels. Then the consumers will be able to get it already. So in this case, you will skip the agent part. So this is kind of like a chain network trading, right? Chain network distribution. And another even shorter one we may have heard of could be manufacturer pass on to a platform, then the platform sells directly to consumer. Very similar to what we have like e-commerce, all right? The online selling, all right? And another one, we call it direct selling, actually works in a way like the manufacturer pass to a platform and then the consumer will get it from the platform, and then the next step will be the consumers will actually introduce more consumers. So buyer introduce buyer, referrals. So that actually we have seen them in the direct selling model, okay? So when you combine a few of these together, it will also come up with a few other methods. For example, if you pair direct selling with e-commerce, right, then you will come up with something we call social retailing, right? Like how we sell using the widgets previously, right? Okay, another example is when you pair e-commerce with retail, then you will get something called new retail or unified commerce, right? This is like an online merging with offline experience. This one has been getting popular lately. Actually, you will see that one common thing, right, in whichever distribution method, right, is that the starting point and the ending point remains the same, whereas the manufacturer and the consumer remains the same. What changes is actually the parties in between, okay? So that's why business actually is about studying how do you trade, how do you distribute, right? And actually what matters finally are, in the process, right, does you upgrade the customer experience, right? The shopping convenience, for example, virtual shopping, all right? You don't need to go door to door to compare prices, to compare products. You get to experience it, right? From online to offline. This is what we call upgrading the customer experience. And another thing is, does the change in the distribution process also upgrades the trade efficiency? For example, if you use a platform to sell, then you get to share the resources, you get to do collaborations, right? And you get to work together between different sellers, right? You share the platform's facilities, you share the platform's marketing efforts and exposure, all right? So if your business model actually meets either one of them, that means the business model is actually somewhat workable.